working plan. Senator, thank you. You're recognized. Please give us your... Is that correct, Senator? Did I get your registration correct, Senator?
With all due respect to the chairman and the members of this august body, I want you to look out here. This is Texas. This is Texas. This is Texas. I know that I'm in the other body, and I had some equivocation about whether or not I should come and testify. That equivocation lasted 1 second, because I wanted to make certain that I had the opportunity to talk to my colleagues in the House. Each and every one of the Republicans that was here in 2021 voted for that map. You voted for it. The governor signed it. Yes, it's being contested in federal court right now. The chair of the Senate Redistricting Committee testified under oath that it was race blind. Not once, but twice. Testified in federal court. And I know I've got some lawyers up here. Under oath, that was race blind. The Attorney General of the state of Texas, who spent much of his time during the Biden administration suing the federal government based on laws passed in the state of Texas. The governor signed this particular map that we're under right now. He put in a letter to the Department of Justice, as you well know, saying that the map was race blind. Your Attorney General. But where is he today? Is he suing the Trump administration? No. Ask yourself why. Members, I'm not going to be long. I know that my colleagues in the Senate Democratic Caucus are supportive of the House Democratic Caucus in asking you to just consider what the governor is asking you to do, but you don't have to vote for it. You do not have to vote for it. You know, I'm going to say this in closing. You know, I'm kind of an historian, and I read a lot of books, and I think about some of the lynchings that occurred. And a group of people that were standing there during the lynching, they just stood there and did nothing. Don't be one of those members as we deal with issues of redistricting. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Members, any questions for this witness? Chair recognizes the speaker here to question the witness.
Senator, there's a lot of us up here. No, Senator, I want to thank you for being here and I appreciate your voice in this process. I've been trying to dig into where these maps are, and I've had a number of members of Congress come before this committee and testify. I've asked several of them. This is the first time I've had a member of the Senate come over, so I'd be remiss if I didn't ask it. Like, have you seen these maps yet? Are they available to y'all in the Senate and just maybe not to us in the House?
No, they're not. And let me say this. The reality is that I've been reassured that there'll be hearings once the maps come out. But check this out. Will there be regional meetings like this? So everyone will have to come to Austin to see the maps, and probably not.
Well, so let me ask you about that. I want to drill down into that. Why is that? I mean, we can all stand up here and talk about what we'd like to see or not see, but without a bill in front of us, there's not something that's drawn right. A map comes in the form of a bill in the legislature, right? It's the same in the Senate?
That's
I got to
exactly
check because we do things different in the House than y'all do. But that's the way it works.
Exactly.
So because we have nothing here, I don't know what these boundaries look like. I don't know what Congressman V. This what is, and I agree with you, what is the value of us seeing it, seeing the proposal, and being able to let folks, like the folks that are here tonight, and as I walked in, hundreds more outside those doors, comment on the actual bill? What's the difference between that and what we're doing here today?
That's true engagement by the public in terms of looking at maps and making comments about whether or not they fully represent communities of interest, as an example.
Well, and I appreciate that. I'm going to ask you one last question. I want to make sure that other members have an opportunity. My understanding is, pursuant to the Constitution, the governor can put anything on the call that we are supposed to undertake.
That's correct.
During a special session, you've been in the legislature longer than me. You know how that goes. And as far as I can find, as far as I can look into the House rules, there's nothing that says we have to take up, consider, or pass anything the governor puts on the call. Is there anything different? Do y'all operate under any different rules in the Senate? Do you have to do what the governor says over there?
You said rules? Or... that's it.
Is there anything
there's nothing that
anything in the Constitution or the Senate rules that say that you have to do what's on the call?
No.
Is there anything that says you even have to hold hearings on it?
No.
Thank you, sir.
And let me just say this, Mr. Chairman, if I may. There are people outside that can't get in. And it's my understanding, because I've talked with the general counsel of the legislative liaison for the university, and I'm being told that they were instructed not to provide any additional space for people that couldn't come in here. And I would hope that it came from the committee. I would hope that you would ask UT Arlington to just open up the space across the hall, okay, and allow people to sit in.
Certainly, Senator. I'd be certainly happy if UT Arlington would open up that space. Before we Senator, a couple more questions. I would remind the audience, just because it takes time. So before we go to the next few questions for you, Senator, if Alyssa Simmons and Mark Vesey could be ready to go to these mics next, I'd appreciate it. I want to make sure we're efficient there. Any other questions for the witnesses? Chair recognizes Mr. Turner to question the panel.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator West, thank you for being here tonight. I think you were in the hearing room earlier when I spoke about the Department of Justice and thanked the chairman for sending a letter inviting the DOJ and suggested that the committee should consider a subpoena if need be, because we need to hear from the DOJ in this process. I know in the Senate, Senator King, the chairman of your redistricting committee, sent a letter inviting the DOJ to testify, I believe, on Friday. Do you happen to know, are there plans being made for the DOJ to testify before the Senate redistricting committee?
Other than knowing that a request has been made, I don't know whether or not they may be out of the office.
Okay. Understood. I wonder where they are. But I would hope, Senator, that for the House and the Senate to be able to fully understand the implications of what DOJ is asking Texas to do, that the DOJ will appear before the Senate Redistricting Committee and the House Redistricting Committee, and I hope both committees will pursue a subpoena process if need be to secure their testimony.
And I'd also hope that this committee would take into consideration that the law that's being depended upon by the Department of Justice is not settled law, by the way. There are other circuits that don't follow what the circuit has prescribed, and that they would allow the Supreme Court to at least opine on whether or not that ends up being the law of the country.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Chair will show Representative Bowers and Representative Davis present on the dais. Members, any other questions? Chair recognizes Representative Gervin Hawkins, question witness.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator, you've been around a long time.
Hey, come on, man.
Senator, you know, one of the things as we go through this journey together that I think is so important, and I know you have this knowledge, what recommendation would you make to our House colleagues in terms of allowing someone to come in and destroy Texas through racial lines, through many other lines, and then leave and go home, and we're left with the aftermath? What recommendation would you give our colleagues? Because, you know, everybody needs cover. And we know that when the man in the White House speaks, everybody does what? They jump and they listen. So, Senator, words of wisdom to my colleagues. Don't let this man destroy Texas.
You know,
what advice would you give them?
My advice to my Republican colleagues is to kind of look within. Look within. We all profess to be Christians. And the analogy I gave you a few minutes ago, where black men were being lynched, there were probably Christians at those lynchings. And they engaged in that type of behavior, knowing in their heart and their soul that was wrong. Wrong. So the question is whether or not you're going to go down that path and say, well, it's just about politics, or it's whether about making certain people in this room get an opportunity to sit at the same table that you're sitting at, have discussions, give their perspective concerning the issues, allow a vote to be taken, and let it be a reflection of the majority of your body and my body. We have a right to sit with you if elected, duly elected by our constituents, and come up with policies that reflect the sentiment of this state. I'd ask you not to destroy what has already happened as it relates to representation by Hispanics and African Americans, because that's what your president is asking you to do. Not your God, but your president.
Members, any other questions? Chair is done. Thank you for your testimony, Senator. You're excused.
Thank you.
Now, forgive me if I read this form wrong. Is it Alyssa Simmons?
Alisa.
Alisa Simmons.
Yes.
So you registered?